What is going on? Alexander Thomas here. Welcome back to Gaming Time 123. We are in episode number 3 of the episode, which is part of the Crushing the Girls series, basically. This is episode number 3. It's called Gets the Kidnapped portion, and we have to go through 100 rooms, maybe, or more, before we get to the end of this section. We have to go fight in and we are currently in room number 42. We're still working on this one. 42 has this wolf-like thing. Is a Skinner Drake. That is a weird looking Skinner Drake. Alexander did get to the store. We're about to find out what that thing uses. And I tell you right now, it is not gonna be it's not gonna be fun. So we'll go ahead and get into the combat. Alexander will be attacking first. Alexander will strike first with the newly acquired staff, and I'll explain what this does in a second. It is it will critical every time. It's twice whatever is rolled on the context of both these dice. So 15, it's this thing, it's for 14. It is 28 damage plus the minimum 20. So a minimum does 34 damage. And the reason why is we'll do something to him is because he's not a wizard. The staff is meant for wizards, but it does do something otherwise. We get to go with Scarlett's attack. She will hit with normal attack of 1d6. And that is so that is 1 damage so far. His next attack is that's no damage from the dog, and just normal damage for the cat, which will be 1d8, dealing 9 damage. Yeah, so the staff does damage to him every time it hits. It's not a lot of damage because he's not a wizard. He can't control the magic. So if a total of 40 something damage, right? which means we'll get two. That hurts.
Alexander swings the Dragon World staff in a crackling arc, smashing into the cold-skinned Skitterdrake as Scarlett, the Werecat, and Gnasher pile on with steel and claw, tearing a flurry of wounds into its frost-slick hide. As the staff's power surges, a biting backlash runs up Alexander's arms, stealing a breath and burning 2 more points of strength from his body, even as the Skitterdrake skitters sideways, hissing and readying its next ice slash.
Alexander will not use that again because it's not going to. It does more damage, but it hurts him. After this one, he's not going to do it again, most likely. Alexander, because he's going to realize that it's not good for him, he does 1d20 plus the answer, so he does 28. And, oops, I need to do the attack swing first. That's a hit. That's a hit. That's a miss for the dog. And that is a hit for the cat. So the cat deals 1d8. 3. And Scarlett hits with a 1d6 twice. It's a 4 and a 4, so it's 39 damage. It's 2 damage, right? Yeah, 2 damage. Yeah, so Alexander's going to stop using it because it hurts him every time he does it. He takes 2 damage every time he uses it. And this eventually will kill him. So, yeah.
Steel, claw, and holy wrath hammer into the cold-skinned Skitterdrake for another brutal 39 points of damage, driving it skittering back across the frost-slick stone as the stitched werecat lunges low, raking at its pale underlimbs, while Alexander feels the staff bite him once more before he wrenches his grip away, swearing off its backlash. The Skitterdrake clings to the wall, bleeding cold ichor, yet still very much alive, gathering itself for a vicious counterstrike as the werecat squares its shoulders and begins to circle, looking for the next opening to tear the creature down.
Let's see, we get attacks. Oh, that. Oh, Using his iron sword, which is another thing he has, he went critical. It's double damage. Which is also 1d20, so we're going to see he does 19 doubled, so it is 38. This will be the Scarlett's hit. 14, which is a hit. It's going to be another 4. 42. That's a hit for the dog. 1. And the last one is a hit. That's critical as well. The cat deals 1d8 doubled. So that is 51 health. Alex is. Oh, and Alexander has one more thing he's got to work with. Because he's also got his initiative roll. Scarlett's also got a whip. I'm an idiot. I forgot, and Scarlett has a whip now. We'll use that in the next one. Because Scarlett has a whip, which is 1d4 as well, but it doubles the damage it increases the damage each turn. So it does 2 damage on the first attack. It does addition, and then it does 4 additional damage, and so on. Still have to hit though, so you still have to do that. 51 damage to the Skitter Drake, and Alexander does have one more thing he's got to work. He can use the dagger. Oh no, he can't use the dagger because Iron Sword does 2 cards, 2 things. I'm not using that sort of thing again. Say it was a cursed weapon. You do not want that.
Alexander lets the cursed staff clatter to the stone as he and his companions surge forward. Their combined assault ripping into the cold-skinned Skitterdrake for a savage 51 points of damage that leaves it hanging in tatters, barely clinging to life, with only a flicker of frost left in its veins. In a last, desperate spasm, it lashes back, icy claws raking across Alexander's armor and flesh, tearing 24 more points of strength from him before the creature's skittering fury falters.
Not critical. Hit critical. Miss. So the dog and the cat both miss. Scarlett and Alexander both hit. We get a 1d6 plus 2 for every time he uses it, so I will have to make a mark on that. So 1d6 plus 2, so that's 6 damage. The cat and the dog both miss. Alexander hits with his iron sword, dealing 18 twice as well. So 36, that's 40 damage. Make sure to note that the Nasher and they are That was one weapon, though, so with critical damage. That was 40 damage. Now she's using the whip now. So daggers, she can only use one weapon, so it is a two-handed weapon, but it does more damage over time. So
Alexander and Scarlett drive their blades into the cold-skinned skitterdrake as holy light flares, scoring a final 40 points of damage that sends the frost-slick creature crashing from the wall in a limp, shattered heap, while Gnasher and the werecats swipe skid harmlessly off stone. As the chamber falls still, trapdoor Gnasher snorts, padding over to poke the corpse with the cold-skinned skitterdrake lying broken on the stone, its frost-slick scales already dulling. Alexander feels the trial's tension ease as the chamber's killing cold withdraws, and the corridor beyond seems to beckon them back toward the dragon-buried vault and Lily's distant cell. Scarlett brushes his shoulder in quiet approval, while the werecat and Gnasher prowl the corpse. And from the creature's hide, Alexander claims a small frost-scale charm that still holds a whisper of winter, a hard-earned boon for the road ahead.
Party goes to room 20. And now... Oh, okay, that's going to be tough. It's gonna be a tough room. And we are down one. That's the next one. We are going to room 20 now. That one is complete.
The party steps into room 20, finds its quiet basin, and drinks deep of the shared healing draught until warmth floods their limbs and the ache of every dragon-marked trial fades like mist from the stone. Renewed and clear-eyed, Alexander and Scarlett meet each other's gaze, while the werecat and Gnasher stretch and shake out their muscles, ready to face the remaining doors and press on toward Lily in the undercrypt vault.
Room 20, though. We're going into room 20. So inside room 20, there is a kid who says, "Choose woman lane." She's 18. One's good, one's bad, one's great. Now, which one she chooses is all on the four-sided die. Now, if it's... She will choose the good... She will choose... Oh. She chooses the... So she's got options. If she rolled... If it had been a 4, she will choose the... If you have a 4 or a 3, she will have the best... The good, great one. Bad if it's 2, and 1 if it's the good one. I'm sorry. I rolled the 2. And that's not good. So I rolled a 2.
Inside the softly lit 20th chamber, a freckled boy no older than 12 sits cross-legged before 3 plain wooden boxes. Eyes bright as he gestures towards Scarlett with an impish smile and a courtly little bow. "Choose one, my lady," he says. Voice sing-song. "One is good, one is bad, one is great. Only your hand and your heart may decide. Scarlett feels Alexander's quiet presence at her shoulder, as all three lids gleam alike under the lantern light, offering no hint of what waits within.
Yeah, unfortunately. I don't care which one it is we choose, but... I don't recall if I did this in the beginning or not, so just to go ahead and put it up there. Scarlett is all for clothes. My turn to clothes. Bad luck, my lady. And the boy tries to run off. Alexander stops him. And return the clothes or else. Return all our clothes. She gets embarrassment for 3 seconds because that's all we get to do.
Scarlett lifts the first box's lid, and with a soft shimmer of mischief-tinged magic, finds every stitch of her clothing whisked away, save her undergarments, leaving her flushed and furious as the boy chirps, "Bad luck, my lady," and bolts for the doorway. Alexander's hand clamps on his shoulder before he can flee, voice low and edged with steel as his fingers brush the hilt of his sword. "Return her clothes, or else." The boy freezes, eyes wide, torn between panic and the lingering enchantment of his game. And the room's hush presses close as Scarlett's temper flares behind Alexander's steady, protective stance.
No, she lost. Yeah, this game is not going well.
The boy snaps, "No, she lost," only to have Alexander's fist crack smartly against his head, sending him sprawling and blinking on the stone as Scarlett folds her arms over herself, cheeks hot with anger and embarrassment. Groaning, the child rubs his skull and glares up at Alexander, the mischief gone from his eyes as the 3 boxes sit ominously quiet beside him, their secrets still humming in the charged air of room 20.
This is a younger kid, so Alex should be leaned. I hope we can find some more clothes for him if he doesn't agree. two choices: either your clothes or your head. And that might not be a good thing for the kid. All right, there goes the head. And he.
The boy twists to dart past, but Alexander's grip catches his collar like a steel trap, hauling him close as his voice drops to a deadly calm. Two choices: her clothes or your head. Scarlett, half hidden behind Alexander. As Alexander's threat hangs in the air, the sigils beneath his boots flash angrily, and a dragon-marked jolt whips up his arm, punishing his grip with a vicious sting that steals 7 heartbeats of strength from his frame, while the boy squeals and wriggles in his grasp. The rattled box splits wide, and a trio of raggle sprites tumble out in a storm of tattered ribbons and snatching hands, cackling as they whirl towards Scarlett and the others with gleeful malice, ready to strip cloth and dignity alike unless they are swiftly struck down.
So we have to. Okay. We do get critical on the first hit, which is going to be Scarlett's critical, which is 4 now. We're going to do a second strike. Alexander, also critical. The dog, not critical, but same damage. And then the cat also same. Okay. Unfortunately, Scarlett actually will not hit. Will be able to only do a hit with a certain damage, due to the fact that she's trying to cover herself. Alexander hits. He is currently doing the word dance for the next 10 turns. So he does get critical on that. Scarlett will not attack, so Scarlett will miss due to the fact. So, but she does get the attempt on the attack, so she'll get her +2. And that's 80 damage on Alexander's strike. The dog and the cat both deal critical as well. No, they both deal normal. Sorry, not critical. And they do a total of 88 damage. No critical. I guess is that kid. We're just gonna go with a regular. And the kid has 128 health. Now if she did attack, what was she doesn't get the attack. There's that one. So she hit 88 damage to it. That's a lot of damage. That puts him at 44, I believe.
Alexander and the others crash into the Raggle Sprites in a flurry of blows, shredding ribbons and tiny limbs for a brutal 88 damage, while Scarlett fumbles her strike, half turned to shield herself from their grasping hands. Shrieking, the tatter swarm whips a lash of snatching cloth around Alexander's throat and arm, yanking him off balance and scoring 17 pain along his skin before he rips free, leaving the sprites wobbling and frayed, but still dangerously alive.
Scarlett's covering herself because she's unclothed, so that's the thing. With that, so that's the whole point. We go to Scarlett will still not be attacking. She does go up once she gets a success of a hit. She does succeed. So she gets an area, but she doesn't hit. Alexander does normal damage, 1d20, that's 15. That's 15 damage, and see the cat and the dog will roll here. That's gonna hit, just this simple, and that is also a hit. So we got an 8-sided die and a 6-sided die for that one. 8 damage. So that goes another 23. But Scarlett doesn't miss because she wouldn't be able to cover herself. If she she's covering or trying to cover herself still, so she's not able to attack. And it all became because of one box chosen.
Steel and claw tear through the Raggle Sprites for another 23 damage, leaving the tatter swarm hanging in fluttering shreds as Trapdog Gnasher snaps and worries at a trailing ribbon with hungry, frustrated growls. In a last, vicious flurry, the sprites whirl their remaining cloth into a strangling lash around Alexander's neck and shoulders, yanking hard and burning 21 strength from his battered frame, before Gnasher lunges, ripping the ribbon free and spitting out the torn scraps.
Let's see how much damage they do. They do 1d8. And they could they kill it? They knew it. Yes, they could. They only need 11 damage. Are you serious? Alexander missed. The Scarlett is going to take her attempt, which it's going to be lower because it was minimum. So it's possible. So she rolls it. She doesn't get any benefits until she rolls 1d6. If she rolls high enough, she just needs to roll a 4. Right? Yeah. So she gets the critical game for 6 damage. She gets 7 damage. If she... Alexander misses. But it does fall, assuming he's all hit. And that's the end of 2022.
Trapdoor Gnasher and the stitched werecat rip into the fluttering Raggle sprites for 9 ragged points of damage, while Scarlett, teeth bared despite her fluster, carves another 7 through their tattered forms as Alexander's swing cuts only empty air. With a final shriek, the cloth swarm unravels completely, drifting down in harmless scraps as the boy stares wide-eyed at the ruined game, and Scarlett's stolen garments shimmer back into place around her. As the last Raggle sprite dissolves into drifting scraps, the boy's enchantment collapses fully. Scarlett's clothes settle back onto her in a rush of restored fabric. The boxes fall still, and the chamber's mischief fades to a chastened quiet, as the child stammers an apology before slipping away under Alexander's hard gaze. In the debris, Alexander finds a single braided ribbon charm that still hums faintly with warded cloth magic. A small token of their victory as the staff's coils point them once more toward the deeper undercrypt corridors and the dragon-buried vault that still awaits. With the trial of Room 20 ended and dignity restored, the party gathers themselves, checks blades and satchels, and prepares to step back into the labyrinth of doors and wards that lie between them and the awakening vault.
So before we get on to, I'm going to go ahead and end the episode there. There were 2 things to note. If I had rolled the better one, the higher one, so I would get the 1, which would be good, it would have been a enchantment that would allow me to re-heal, basically. It gave me 1 extra potion. And the great one gave each of our swords an upgrade. So the bad one was not exactly it. That is the end of episode number, I don't know what job number is. The next episode of Kids will be continuing on in the next episode. Continue on trying to get closer to finding Lily. See you next episode. Don't forget to keep your game on, and I'll see you next episode.